Hope that helps. Maybe it doesn't. Hey everyone, welcome to Renew Talk. It's Elaine Janelle on the mic. And it's Friday night, y'all. Ain't that what they said? It's Friday night and we living single. Y'all see this colorful background? It's all about living single. So I'm gonna give people a chance to hop on. We are going live through Facebook and through Instagram. And so, not Instagram. I always say Facebook and Instagram because it comes naturally. It's through Facebook and YouTube. All right. I want to make sure y'all have the link. So I'm gonna make sure I drop the link in, and we're gonna move on from there. To get started, though, I like to ask some like fun and like lightweight questions, easy things to get us started. So I'm gonna wait until we get. I'm gonna wait at least 1 minute, like 1 minute, if that's fine with y'all. I'm gonna wait 1 minute before I start asking my questions.
It's cool with me.
Great. All right. And y'all see this thing on the side? It says private chat. It's only for us. Y'all see that?
Yes.
If you want to share it, that's the link to share it with.
Cool.
Okay. I want to make sure I get that to you guys. Easy things to get. Ooh, Lord. You know, when you watch social media and everybody has shows and different little podcasts and stuff, this is not for people that go live. Like going live is one thing, but like doing stuff like this is a whole other thing.
Welcome.
When you do stuff like this, most people have a team or two behind it.
You're a team of one.
You your own team.
And with that being said, that's why things kind of go like this. So I'm always like multitasking the entire time. So I'm sharing with you guys just the links for YouTube and for Facebook. And I'm going to put out one more push on Facebook, and then we're just going to go ahead and dive into conversation. Because if anybody watches this later on YouTube or Facebook, they'll probably be like, they took a minute to get started. And we're only about 5 minutes in, and we all want to wrap up around 9.
I can't help it. I'm goofy.
Oh my Lord.
Elaine, I want you to know I strategically placed sat back here so y'all could get all this.
He made a whole background.
This beautiful scenery that I got back here.
Oh, come on.
Absolutely. You know I'm serious about my plants.
I know you're serious about your plants.
I'm serious about my plants. I'm a plant dad right here.
I know you are serious about your plants, and I respect it. There we go. All right. So my first question tonight, like I said, I want to get started with these questions. My first question tonight is specifically lightweight questions. They're easy questions to ask and to get answers to. So these are not hard questions. You don't think about them, you just respond. It's quick stuff like that. So first one tonight is, what do you prefer? Do you prefer loud or quiet?
I prefer. Thanks.
I prefer quiet.
A straight answer, but I feel like it's very conditional. But for the purpose of a straight answer, I prefer quiet.
Okay. And you Toran, you said quiet too?
Yeah, just like Basil, it's conditional. So
Conditional. Yeah.
Okay. So another question I have: do you prefer black or white?
black.
Black is black.
The fact that Torrance said black and your mouth moved at the same time as. Okay. Another question is music from the 80s or music from the 90s?
So I'll go with 90s. I feel
I'm gonna go with my decade, the 90s.
like 90s is a great era for like hip hop or R&B or even
A
gospel.
little 80s too. Yeah.
Women, you said what did you said 80s too? What did you say about gospel?
I said 90s is a great era for gospel too. That's like when Kirk came on the scene and
They're gonna say 90s.
I would say 90s for secular, and then for old school gospel, I would say 80s.
Okay.
okay. I'm trying to think like what gospel artists are popular.
Choirs, the choirs,
Sure.
the choirs.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How about okay, because choir saying I can see why you said that, but I also understand why a lot of people say 90s specifically for the hip hop. Like that's because that era, like even though it was introduced in the 80s, it was like it started thriving in the 90s.
It's like when it
Like it started infusing, and we started using old stuff, new.
Yeah. Yeah, it was limitless by then. Okay, a few more. East Coast or West Coast?
East.
Both of y'all at the same time.
We both East Coast. Connecticut and Florida, we both as East Coast. And Philly, we all three of us East Coast as
Yeah,
well.
we're all from the East Coast, but I always ask because I know some people who really prefer.
Yeah.
I know people who live on the East Coast who prefer the West Coast.
I will say I went to visit LA a few weeks ago, and I had a great time. And when I was there, I was like, man, I could see myself living here. So that would be the only instance where I choose West, but I'm gonna choose where I'm from, where I live.
Okay. Let me see what else I got in my little reservoir. If you could live anywhere in the world and you can only pick one spot, where would it be? Anywhere in the world. Limits are off.
It's tough. Toran?
Somewhere where there's an international airport.
Everywhere. That's everywhere. That's every country.
You don't have a city or a country, state, or anything that kind of pulls you in?
I would say Jamaica, if not Bermuda.
Okay.
I like island. I like water.
You said you like island, you like water. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that feel.
And I'll keep it a little bit simpler. Your whole state of Florida, Toran. I love Miami. Miami's probably my favorite place to visit. So.
It's north and south are north, central, and south are three different.
Yeah. That's what I hear when it comes to Florida. So for me, I'm thinking
Three
South
different lands.
It's about North Florida. So South Florida is probably where I'd want to. If I could pick any place, I love Miami.
Okay. So Miami for you. I got like two more. Oh, yeah. This is relevant. Short hair or long hair?
On in general or on
so I put it plainly out there.
It doesn't matter.
Now here's the fun part. Because I don't have no limits on it, it's kind of like wherever your mind goes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking of on a woman, then you can say what your response is to that. If you're thinking about yourself, you can say what your response to that. I said this is relevant only because I know Basil used to have locks. So
Pastor had locks.
I used to have dreadlocks. I had dreadlocks for 13 years from the time I was 5 to the time I was 18.
Oh, you gotta bring pictures next time.
I gotta, if I could find them, they on. My mama got them somewhere.
They're actually on Facebook.
They were long. They was like down like my back.
Yes.
I can't see it.
I had it, man. And so I'll say, so because I had locks for so long, I'll say that I definitely prefer short hair. It's a lot easier. It's easier to manage. You gotta get haircuts and you gotta maintain it because it looks scruffy. But short hair definitely easier.
100%. Okay, so you said short hair. Toran, what do you say short hair? Like I said, it's wherever your mind goes.
I like short hair. Actually, I really don't have a preference, but as long as I can pull it and it don't come out.
Oh, okay. Note to self. Okay. And I think this will be my last. Well, I have two more. Sorry, I said two more before, but I got two more. My other one is, which season of the year do you prefer? So we have 4 seasons. Which one do you prefer the most?
Fall.
Okay, I like spring.
You like spring? Okay. Is there a reason why?
My birthday's in spring, and I feel like spring is like and I feel like spring is like the season where we just been like dead all winter. We've been in the house. We've been cold and dark. And spring is like that first taste of like the sun's coming out. Stuff is starting to open up. The trees are getting their leaves back. It's a very refreshing season. I like spring.
Okay, spring. All right. Toran, how about you? You said like fall. Is there something in particular?
Fall.
Like why you like it?
I love the fall. The fall is awesome.
Why?
Because you have out of all of the fall things, I think fall is just fun. You got football. You have the weather is changing. It's enjoyable. You have that warm fall. Then you have that cold November.
November fall. Yeah, it is definitely two different vibes in fall.
I like spring too, but I like in between seasons. I like that. I like to see things change from one setting to the next. So fall is like that. You campfire. Also, October is the best month out of the fall.
Oh, okay.
Why is October the best month?
We going on. We got it.
Fall.
Immediately, we got it. We caught on. We got it. No problem. As soon as he said it's the best month, I was like, got it.
I will though give you that fall. Homecomings are in fall, and shout out to the greatest homecoming that there is, the Howard University homecoming, which I think is making a comeback this year because we was on break, with COVID last year.
I know y'all definitely want to show out in 2021.
Yeah. What is that? Like a celebration for U Street, right? Shout out to a real homecoming.
Here we go.
October 30th.
Oh my
God.
God.
The highest of the 7 hills. Well, we about to whoop up on Grambling this year. The greatest homecoming in the world is FAMU, Florida A&M University.
Okay, now that we got that out, here's my last question. As you got anybody who watches, you will now represent. You'll see that these young men represent historically Black colleges and universities. Okay, so 100%. So some of the best ones they represent. All right, and he's
number one.
FAMU is always ready, and FAMU is always ready. And I'm gonna say the same thing now. Hey, Sean. Hey, Denise.
Nice, everybody from church on here.
Denise says she begged your pardon, Toran.
Yes, it's all about Rattling.
Because she is HU all the way.
That's all right. Y'all can pull up in the parking lot. We'll come from everywhere.
That's going to be a problem because in UP's parking lot at New Bethel Baptist Church is where we attend. It is a small group of FAMU. Now it is a group.
Oh, we thugs. It don't matter. We'll pull up. I actually met an alumni today randomly at the post office. I had my face mask on. She had her shirt on. So how we greet each other, we say, "Hey, Rattler."
That's real. That's real cute, man. That's real cute.
And it's part of the game.
Right. Denise said HU owns the parking lot. Hold on, let me.
Talking about Hampton.
Yeah. Ain't not no Hampton. You about to get yourself in trouble.
How do we block Toran on this? Talking about some Hampton.
Y'all pull up. Y'all already know what to call.
I mean, oh my goodness, he's about to get himself in trouble.
Y'all pull up. I can't wait for HBCU day at church.
Yes, we do use, but we just call it College Day because the truth of the matter is, look, Denise said never.
I'm
I
putting the
do.
flags
We
out.
usually call it College Day because people like me did not go to a historically black college or university, so we need a little bit of space.
That's okay. You
I'm
can
not
be
as loud as y'all. I don't reign supreme or
I'll
nothing.
bring you a shirt from home.
I ain't been to homecoming in years. I'm chilling.
Lane, look, Lane, you could just go right down the block from the church. And you could
Just go to Howard Homecoming.
Howard bookstore. You can buy hours are.
They sell them shirts at the Dollar Tree. Everybody can get one.
Yeah. I did go to Howard's homecoming. I think it was 2019. That was my first time going like through, and I went just slid through there, met up with a friend of mine after like a game or something like that.
The Tailgate or Yard Fest, one of them.
It was a football game thing. I don't know. I honestly can't.
Yeah, it wasn't memorable, right?
No. Don't say that. I remember. And you will not get me in trouble.
No, I like
not
the
just with Basil. You ain't gonna get in trouble with the varsity people. I will say that FAMU has a vibe, and I said that to Basil's mom.
So my mother did. My mother went to FAMU. So I'm talking junk, but I do have love for the Rattlers.
It's in his blood.
I knew that Basil at first I wasn't going to say nothing because of that.
He's family. He's family. We accept him. We accept.
Oh
him.
man.
That's what y'all call each other?
Family. Yes.
Family. I thought it was rappers.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Family.
Here's my last question, then we're going to dive into the conversation. Right after I ask the last question, I am going to ask you guys to change your social media names. So in those 3 dots in your little boxes at the bottom, you can see a space where you can rename yourself. And this is just so that if anybody decides they want to follow you after the show, they can follow you after the show. On the one that's up for me is Instagram, because I actually check my Instagram more than Facebook. I'm not as much of a Facebook or whatever. I just don't be on there as much. I get on there though because of the new talk. And Sean Wild said her mom did too. Her mom must have went to FAMU too. Last question is sugar with grits or salt and pepper with grits?
Salt and pepper.
I don't know sugar and grits.
You know, I'm from the South. Now I don't know nothing about no sugar. If I see somebody putting sugar in grits, I'm just ain't no telling what's gonna come out my mouth. But I'm just saying, you nasty.
You nasty. Okay. That's real. So, for those who are just hopping on or just checking out the shows, a few people have been watching, thank you for the love you guys are showing. Please, everybody who's watching, comment, share, give feedback. I love that 100%. It makes the show more fun and makes the conversation more fluid. We're going to dive into the details of living single now. And what I want the guys to do, both of them have shared that they're from the East Coast because that was in our questions. And both of them have shared what schools they went to. But if they want to share just a little bit, oh, Terrence, you are my friend. Thank you. I don't usually say how I feel because I get in trouble.
Sugar, salt, and pepper. That's a lot going on in some grits, man.
My friend Cindy does the same thing. Cece, she was the last person on Living Single. 2 young ladies I had, and Cece said she does the same thing. She's like, I put it all in there. She was like, sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that, sometimes I do everything. So she be going to town. But I want you guys to just share a little bit about where you guys are from, and or whatever you want to share. Let me not say where you're from, but just whatever you want to share. And then I'm going to my first question about living single. Let's start with Toran. Don't forget to change your name to your social media. In the know, whoever that is.
I'm a ratchet Christian, so don't judge me.
Won't. We ain't here for that. I try to tell people that we ain't here for that. All right, go ahead. Basil, you can start.
Sure. My name is Basil Nichols. I am originally from, like I shared, Connecticut, from a city called New Britain, right outside of Hartford. I went to Howard, graduated in 2017, and I've lived in DC for the better part of 8 years now, which is crazy because it feels like I just came here. Yeah, 8 years. Trying to think what else. I coach track and field, so in my free time when I'm not working, I coach track. I love kids. I love track. I ran track when I was an undergrad. I am preparing to transition from DC to Boston. I'm going to divinity school, so I start this fall. So I'm excited and nervous and all those other emotions about that. But I'm looking forward to that. And I'm excited to be here. Elaine is great. When Elaine asked me to join, I was like, of course I'm gonna be there. And she said Toran was gonna be there. I said I definitely got to be there now. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
I bring numbers.
No, 1_. Okay.
You better bring some numbers tonight. Tell your family you live, baby boy.
We did pretty good watch night. We did pretty good watch night.
Yo, I'm weak. I'm 100% weak. Yes, I am. Basil, I am actually very excited for you. And even though I won't be able to see you as often after the summer, I am 100% excited for your experience with moving to Boston. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Toran, go ahead and introduce yourself. Share.
Hi, my name is Toran.
Okay, you about to be there boy tonight. All right, no problem. I'm gonna move on to my first question because we ain't even gonna do this.
I just play it. I'm Toran. I am from Florida, North Florida, Tallahassee. I am a graduate of Florida A&M. I live in DC. I do solar thermal reviews. So with DCRA. I don't know. I'm 29.
Okay, that works. Age will be a part of this conversation. You'll notice that in a few minutes when I ask some of these questions. It comes up. Age comes up because the biggest thing, and if anybody who's listening and watching it and you do enjoy the conversation tonight, just know that we have more coming to you about living single, because I want to talk about it from different age groups and different kind of point of views, because living single in your 20s and your 30s is definitely different from living single in your 60s. So we're going to be talking to, like, throughout the summer, y'all are going to be like, oh, this is different. Oh, this different perspective. And I want it to be like that because I want to talk about that aspect of living single, because I feel like I heavily feel like the industry pushes for marriage, and there's nothing wrong with it. When I say the industry, I'm talking about like entertainment industry. I ain't gonna say they push for marriage, they push for a relationship. Let me be real honest. They push for a relationship. And I don't think anything's wrong with being in a relationship. I don't think anything's wrong with marriage. I just think that some people are insecure in their singleness because there's not a single support group. Or it's more so, and let me be careful with the way I say that because I would never join something like that. I was never joining something like that. I really
ministry.
But you get what I'm saying? Like sometimes the push to be single or the encouragement to enjoy your singleness is not there. Mm-hmm. But the encouragement and the push to be in a relationship is often there. You get what I'm saying? So that's what made me want to do this kind of like series of different conversations around living single. And of course, I love the show Living Single from the 90s. It's just like a thing. Like I watched all the episodes during COVID while we was home. I just went through it until they started changing out the characters, and you was like, "This ain't Living Single no more." What show? We don't know what show y'all creating now. I watched it until the very end. So my first question for you guys tonight is like, when did you first realize that you were considered single? Like, when did you realize that you were no longer a teenager? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You matured out of that age bracket, and now you're considered a single person.
So I know for me, I feel like there was a point in time when everybody was kind of single, and then people started people were getting married and things like that. And I feel like for me, that was like the moment where like, oh, okay, like we in two different, different life positions. We might still be the same age, from the same generation, might have grown up together, gone to school together, have similar experiences. But definitely for me, when more and more people in my life, especially around my age, started getting married or even started having children, that was something I think for me that kind of like, rang a little bell in my head of like, okay, like this is it.
Gotcha. How about you, Toran?
I would say the same thing, but it wasn't more so people having kids, so they was doing that in high school, but more so because I'm real close knit with my classmates from high school. A lot of us came into college, and so I think by grad school, when one of my friends was like, so I think I'm gonna pop the question, and then I like literally just set up and I said, "You said what?" And then it was like, okay. And then another one popped the question. Then recently 2 more popped the question. So it was like, okay.
This facial expression with the popular question.
Yeah, it was all these popping up the questions, and I'm like, are you ready?
Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
yeah, and so um, just watching people evolve or going through that phase, you kind of question like, you young, are you really ready? Because I know you, I know you, sir, yeah, or I know you, ma'am.
No, that's real. That's very real. And it's a good question to ask your friends. I feel like a real friend would ask that.
Mhm.
Well, you know me, I have no filter, so
You don't. That's true. We have to work on that, but you don't. Sean Miles said, "Yeah, you don't really realize you're single until you're the last one in the friends group still single." Simple enough. Not Basil. What you actually said is exactly what Cece said on the last episode that we did. She said she noticed it when people start coupling up.
Yeah.
And then my friend Alice said one of her closest friends got married, and when they got married, she was like, oh, because she started realizing that her close friends started going to her fiance more for like deeper conversations and wouldn't come to her first. And that's when she realized like, oh, like I'm not your number one.
Yeah. And it's like a natural adjustment, but it's one of those things where you're like, oh, like this is what it was and this is what it is. And it doesn't mean we're not friends or we're not cool, but as it, you know, as it should be, at least in my opinion, once you enter into that, that union, that bond with your significant other, that is, now your person.
Right. And I think it's interesting that you say that because I think when you're in the middle of a relationship and that transition happens, you transition with it. But sometimes your friends may not be aware, especially if they're not in a relationship themselves or married themselves. Sometimes they're like, wait, what's going on? Right? Like they have to like, and sometimes a conversation is good to have. And the only reason I'm saying it is because I remember one of my friends, we all went to undergrad together in New York. And he said about another one of his friends, he was like, oh, she don't call me no more. You know, she married. Like, friends, what are those anymore? Like, she was like, the only problem is when she get bored, then she will call me. And I'd be like, I mean, am I your friend? I don't know if you're your friend anymore.
Yeah, that's a whole nother situation.
It is. And I realized, go ahead, Basil.
I was gonna say, but then I'd also imagine like, as people are coupling up and getting married, I don't know if married people tend to hang out with other married people or just because it's easier or just because single people live a different type of lifestyle than married people. So it just makes, it naturally flow better. I don't know.
It's funny you said, yeah. It's funny you said that because I think a lot of people, married people do that because it makes sense for them. Go ahead.
It's crazy. I don't know because I've seen married couples still hang out with that one friend, or they still have their own individual friends, and then they have their couples that they may do something or go on a trip with. It's just, I don't know. I guess it just depends on how everybody gels or how the situation is, because everybody's situation or they socialize differently. So I've seen it, a bunch of examples where they can hang out with the single person hangs out with them, or the wife will hang out with this person from college or a teammate, something like that. So I don't know. I guess it's just however they gel in their understanding.
It's interesting you say that because I wonder if people still keep in touch with their single friends, but may not be their close friend. And the only reason I ask, and this would be a conversation, of course, that I would have with somebody who's married. The only reason I say that is because, like, I don't have any close married friends. I have friends who are married, but they're not my, like, I think my god sister is probably my only person. And that's because we're kind of more lifetime friends. It's not like we met in college. We grew up together, and we always keep in touch because her son is also my godson. But she's the only person I talk with, like, often. And when I say often, I mean like once a month.
Not even out.
It's not. Once a month. Like, we talked last night because it was a birthday, and we may not talk again until July, straight up.
So, Elaine, though, do you think that might be I don't know because I have like a similar situation where even though I have some friends who are getting married, a lot of my closer friends are still single or dating. I just have some closer friends who are engaged right now, but not too many of them are like actually already married. And I know that it might be a regional thing or like a cultural thing sometimes. And I know that there are some areas like back home in my hometown. I know that a lot of people are already married or already like on that track to marriage. But here in DC, I was talking about this with a friend of mine recently. I don't know if it's because it's a city and everyone's really on their work grind type thing, but I don't necessarily know if that's like more of like the focus of like marriage, like talking about like in cities like DC.
Right. I actually think you're correct, and I do agree. And the reason I said that because Lindsay, who goes to our church as well, said the same thing. Mm-hmm. She's from down south. She's from North Carolina, not too far from Greensboro, and she said the same thing. She was like, "What did she say?" She said it's more quantity up here, but the quality of finding a good person is harder. And down there, the quantity is low, but the quality of people are like a good quality. And so she was talking about that just in general conversation. It was a good point of view. My story is not as different because I'm from Philly and I'm from another city. And I can't even talk about quality and quantity. That's another conversation for another day. I think because dating is more about, for me, it's more about quality and quantity because there's a lot of quality men. They're just not for me. Does that make sense? I think this can be the same thing for women with men. There's quality women, but it's just not the quality woman for you. I hope that doesn't sound okay.
No, that's a good way to explain it.
Okay,
they just can grasp it.
What'd you say?
I said if they don't grasp, they don't grasp. But that was about as plain as you can get it. I understand that.
Because I've dated some really good guys, and I mean, married or not, like I wouldn't tell somebody else they try it. Like I can't say that. I'd be lying. I'd be straight lying. Because they were decent people. They are decent people. I mean, I act like nobody did. Say hello to Candace, y'all. Candace is about.
Hey, Candace.
Candace, we miss you in DC.
Yes, that's our friend. Now she lives in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta. What are some things that you think about guys now in life that you didn't think about in your early 20s? Like some aspects of life with career and just things that the trajectory you're on that you think about now that you didn't really discuss or talk about when you were, say, 21, 22, 23.
Am I going to stay here? How many times am I going to move? I'm getting old.
I need to set up.
I need to set up. Do I want to set up here? Do I want to go near home, back home, stay here? Is the money good? Is the salary good? Is my prayer life good?
That's good.
No, that's real. That's real.
Sorry, I'll add to that. So you have all those questions, which I do too. But then you're also thinking like, man, one of these days, like I'm gonna really do life with. And she's gonna have to like, we're gonna have to like share a space, but also like make decisions together. So it's not about where do I want to live, what do I want to do, where is this? It's like, no, what are like we going to do?
Or if I move now, or am I here now? If we're going, is she here? Is she there? Is it going to come at 30? Is it going to come at 35? That's just like the little bit of questions mentally that run through my mind. And then spiritually, it's like, is she going to be that virtuous woman? Am I going to be that virtuous man? Am I going to be the right spiritually for this lady? I don't know. Those just questions that come to mind.
Well, I'm going to first start with the movement stuff because Basil kind of honed in on something in particular about like preparing for a relationship. And I think I used to like mentally say, well, if I move here, like I will always think like keep a husband in mind concept. The problem, I think, is harder. Like I'm not dating anyone, not courting anyone, as I would normally say. And so when I think of the fact of like, okay, am I going to actually would I move to be with someone, it would have to be like super serious because I'm a type of person who like I will continue to plan my life. Like I am that person that if somebody meets me, they will know like Elaine been doing bam, 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 bam. Like she ain't some people because I know some people kind of will wait. They'll halt and wait in one position, and that's not what I know to do because I don't know when it's going to happen. So it's like that part of trusting God for that part because I very much so can relate to Torin was like, do I stay here? Do I move somewhere else? And I know he's further from home. And I've asked Torin before. I was like, you think you might move back home? Like, because everybody has different vibes with their home area. Where some people like they miss it, they want to be closer. To, i.e., why can't this move back down south? But then, but she's still like 3-4 hours from home. She ain't moved back home. But then there's other people who are like, I ain't never going back home. Like I'm good. So,
it also just depends, at least from my experience and from experiences of people that I know. What's your like when you get to a point when you're like, okay, like I really feel like I'd want to settle down or I'd want to really get serious about finding a wife or finding a husband or whatever. Some people feel that they can't do that in certain areas. Like I know plenty of people that like, no, I'm not gonna find my wife in DC. Like let me pack up and move my stuff and go on
wow.
back. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are like that, and so people make those moves for career moves. People might make those moves for other financial reasons, or they really might make those moves to find a partner.
Right. I'm laughing because my friend said, I think at different ages of life, you think about different things. One of my good friends, he said all he's thinking about is, I don't want to lose my hair. But he's in his 30s. And we're moving to, some of my friends are moving towards their late 30s area. So life is getting real. And a lot of them are still single. And Candace said the dating scene for her, she said the single was a struggle across the United States of America.
It's a pandemic.
The economy is not right for me to. My stimmy isn't stimulus enough to stimulate me to.
I'm weak. His stimmy wasn't enough. It ain't stimulated enough.
I'm just tired out here. That's it.
What are some things that you enjoy about being single? Like being like just share like anything that you enjoy about being a single man.
So this will sound really tough, but like you can really just get up and do what you want.
Yeah, I don't have to check in with nobody.
Like at all times. And that necessarily isn't always the best thing. And trust me, my experience, it hasn't always been the best thing. But just the fact that like, it's just like what Torin just said, there's no check-in, there's no like accountability. Like you just gotta get up and if you want to do this today, you do that today.
Right.
Yeah, because one example I can give you, when my friends come in, and they either have their fiance that's back home or they're in a relationship with somebody. And once they get a certain time, like, did you check in? Because we hanging out, we don't need no interruptions now. So I don't have to check in, but I don't make sure my friends check in, make sure they're good. So I'm practicing.
No, I think that's I think that's a good friend. Look, I think that's a good friend because before my married friends, and like I said, I don't have that many, but for the ones that I know that are married, I'm like, that's a natural question I would ask. And I'll give you an easy example, and this is what cuts out. I've been doing this though since I was younger. Like when I got around people who would get married young and like in their early 20s or like at 20, I would be like, how such and such and how such and such. Like it was like automatic. We put all the words together. No, I don't ask just how you are. How such and such and how such and such. Because I want to make sure that it's clear that my interest is never going to be to divide. It's always going. But I think that's what a good friend should do. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's good that have that. Are there any things? I'm going further into my questions, but are there any things that you would do? Are there any things that you like are waiting to do when you get married? And the reason I ask that is because like both of you guys was like, you don't gotta check on nobody, you just get up and go. Same thing the young lady said. Like, you just move around, do things as you want, as you feel. But I often wonder, are there any people that are like waiting to have someone to do something or to build something else out, like, or do share.
I'm really trying to.
She was coming. I knew she was coming.
How I want to answer this question.
She's funny.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I guess that there are some life things that I feel like maybe in my mind, I've always imagined doing it with like my wife. It doesn't mean that I have to. Like, so for me, like I don't really think I've never really considered like buying a house like by myself. I know people do it. I know it's great, and I'm not like shaming it. I think that's awesome. But for me, it's kind of always been one of those things where like we are buying this house. I don't really see myself wanting to own a house like by myself. Even though rent in DC is crazy, but buying a house in DC is crazy too.
Yes.
I guess like that's one of those things that I would say that I definitely in my mind put on the back burner until I, have like that partner.
That's interesting. But I actually like it because I don't think you're the only person like that. How about you, Toran?
No, I'm gonna get that house. If we don't have to stay in the city, I'm a country boy. We can go out in the county. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but except the house thing. I believe in having your own, and then we can, if you have, or however the agreement is, I'm gonna have my own pot set regardless. So just in case anything goes wrong, prenup.
No, I get that, and okay. To what Basil said about buying a house with somebody, I can definitely see that because So I thought by now I might be married. Maybe that would help give perspective because I'm in my 30s and I'm in mid-30s. But I thought by now I would probably be married. Maybe not have a whole bunch of kids. Maybe have just a random one. Yeah, just a one running around. Because I was never. For me, I was never hype about being married in my 20s. That's just me. I know some people have a timeline. I literally have met people that are like, "This is what I'm going to do then. This is what I'm going to do now." And the way that God has kind of routed my life, like my timeline was thrown out the window very early on because I started realizing that a lot of what I needed to do was going to be based upon God's decision for me and not my decision for myself. So when I grabbed hold of that vision early, it made it like I had to kind of chill off of thinking that certain things were going to go my way or the way I thought that they should go. And so by now I did think I would be married, but what's funny is I have been more open with the ideas of purchasing my own home and doing different things on my own because that hasn't happened yet. I've become more open with that mindset. But I think even as a child, though, I was like, well, you do things when it comes to you. When that time comes when you want it. Because I have friends that bought houses in their 20s who weren't married. I have friends that definitely did that. And my storyline was a little different because I didn't want a house at 25. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want a house. When I see and I'm careful about this with social media, y'all. When we see people promoting that, I'm happy for the people that do it. You buy a house at 21, bet, goals. But that don't mean that's my goal. You know what I mean? That wasn't my goal at 21, and it's fine. And I don't think anybody should be shamed for it. And that's what I was thinking about when you said that. So I don't think anybody should be shamed if you decide to wait until you're married to buy a house. I don't think anybody should shame if they go decide if they're 22 and they want to go out and buy a house and they got the money.
That's an incredible accomplishment. It's I was just like a personal preference in terms of like I just kind of always imagined like that'd be something that me and my wife do and get into together because like my friends that do own houses, like it looks like a lot of work, and I'm like, this looks like a lot of work. I would love to do this with somebody, like if I had a preference. Now, of course, if I get to a point in time and like, it just hasn't happened, I haven't gotten married, and I'm really like, I would like to stop renting, like, yeah, go ahead and like, buy a house. That's just kind of one of those things that I've always.
Right, that you want. That's cool. That's cool. And Toran, I already know you are Florida all the way, so I already. as Torin always says to me, y'all city folk don't know nothing about cars. We don't know nothing. I don't know nothing.
I catch the metro, man.
No grass, no nothing.
I don't know nothing. Are you guys dating currently? Now, this is something. This conversation about living single will go in and out between about the dating aspect. But the reason why I asked this question is because I realize that some people want to date, and some people actually don't right now. Like people have different perspectives of their lives. You don't have to tell the person's name or anything like that. I'm just saying, are you open to the concept of dating?
Yeah, I'm open to the concept of dating. We just went into a little pause.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. I actually am actively seeing someone right now. Still single, but seeing someone, if that makes sense. But, I think that oftentimes there's like an active choice that you have to make. Like I am now like available, which I feel like is like a big thing for people to like look introspectively and to like make that decision, you know. And so when I made the decision, I made a decision.
Got you. I didn't realize that was a thing until like last year. Just so that you know. 2019, maybe 2019, 18. My roommate and Mike did that to me. They asked me, he was like, "Are you like available for dating?" I was like, "I mean, I don't got a sign saying I'm closed. I'm just confused. Like I didn't know."
Are you open or are you closed?
I didn't know that there was like an integration
of. That's a big thing because you can be single and not be with anybody. But that does not mean that you automatically available because maybe you're not in a mind space or whatever space that you want to date or you want to entertain another individual. So I feel that's a huge thing.
Yeah, that it is big, and I'll be honest, I really didn't learn it until a few years ago. And when they asked, I was like, "What are y'all talking about?" I said, "I'm open to. I don't mind meeting people." But it became real when they said it. Like, well, maybe something about me doesn't always give an openness to people. Like, because I know I can be nice and welcoming, but I can be very like into my world. Like I do realize that about my personality. Torin, how about yourself? Because you didn't answer nothing. You just saying stuff.
Oh, I said I'm open to the idea of dating. Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesdays I'm available. Friday I'm available. But...
Yo.
Tuesday, Friday.
Nights I'm at the church, so I'm not available. So.
Y'all see the
I'm laughing, but it's true.
The Instagram name is in the little screen. If anybody wants to check the availability.
Yeah, hit that inbox.
Oh my gosh, that is true though, and that's why I got so tickled, because it is true. Some nights that we are at church, so then it becomes like that balance of dating and your regular life, trying to keep up with that.
Parking lot, go to U Street. We're good.
How open are you? How open are you to being in like a committed relationship, like at this time of your life? If like you both said that you're open to dating, but how open are you to the committed relationship part? Because I do realize it's two different things now.
No, we'll try that February 2020.
Cuffing season coming back around.
Right.
That is, I think that question is very like loaded again because it depends on where you are in life, maybe some of your future aspirations or just some things that you might still want to work on. For me, again, the answer is yes. And it's not something that I've always I haven't always had this available switch on.
Gotcha.
There's seasons where you are coming out of a relationship, right? If that's like to be honest, we've all had relationships that have ended. So, you're coming out of that relationship. And so you might not be open to the idea of a committed relationship right after or for some time after. So I think it's like I said earlier, it's like a point that you get to that takes a lot of like self-reflection.
Gotcha. No, yeah. Okay, we know to hit up Torin in February 2022. Don't ask nobody just around Valentine's Day, sir. Like, wait.
Yeah, man. I was about to say that
let me give you dates.
to start seeing somebody in February is
2nd, 2022.
You said what in February? You what?
February 2nd, 2022.
Tori, New Bethel is on here tonight. I just want to let you know.
I see everybody's coming for me tonight. If I told you where I was, you'll know why I'm sweating.
I just want to let y'all know that they on here tonight, and the people got stuff to say. Candace agrees with Torin. That's because Candace is from Alabama. Like, yeah.
I am sweating because of where I am. If you knew where I am, you would know why I'm sweating.
You don't got the AC on, brother?
They are messing tonight on y'all. They messing. I ain't gonna keep up. But Sean did say something in particular about the available part is that, you know, sometimes she doesn't want to be bothered. And I think it's real to have that conversation. And like you said, Basil, to know that about yourselves. Like at this very moment, you're open to dating, you're open to meeting new people, you're willing to make that connection. And then there's other times where it's like not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much right now. I haven't, like I said, I'm in a different area because I mentally, if I'm not like in my God mode, I'm open to it. Like that's really what it is for me. If it ain't this, because I know I could be like this sometimes. Once I'm not in that mode, I'm open to it. Now I'll tell somebody in a minute, I don't think this is for me. I don't really dump people, but I will, like, compatibility is a thing. Let me say that real quick. Compatibility matters. And that's why I said, like, for me, it's not quantity and quality. It's just like, do you make sense to the way I think? Because I don't believe in wasting time and being with people and we thinking like two totally different spectrums or ideas.
Yeah, then sometimes, it's just not meant to be in that space. Maybe y'all just need to be friends and hang out.
True.
Maybe that's like a starting point. Or if it doesn't start that way, just be friends, hang out.
Soren, how do you feel about communicating that with women though? Like if you are really in that point where you're like, we should just be friends, because I know that can be a complicated conversation to have sometimes.
No, not with me.
No,
let's just hang out. We just be friends.
Go ahead. You about to answer my question?
No, go ahead and say it, Prophetess.
First I was going to say, like, shut up. First I was going to say, I was going to ask, like, how many people, like, have you, but it was too heavy of a question because I was going to ask, like, how many people have you broken up with? But it's really, I don't really want to know that. It's more so, like, how many people have you, like, given that curve? Because you say I curve people, but it's really when I start, I look at signs and I'll be like, oh. So what I'm imagining is you probably do the same thing, Torin.
Yeah, because you know how, us Scorpios, we have that 7th sense.
Oh, we are both Scorpios. I forgot that. And the Basil was like,
we picked up on
making up stuff.
And it weighs on our spirit.
Yeah, he is making up stuff right now. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, but when you say signs and stuff, yeah, take those signs, you be like, yeah, let's go ahead, let's just hang out. Let's not try to do too much too early, too soon.
To the point, Elaine, that you made earlier, I think the sooner, when you see them signs, I think the sooner the better, because I understand people's time is precious. I don't think anyone likes their time to be wasted. I know I don't. And so I think that is a very, like, respectful, even if you are, like, putting somebody, like, down, like, or even if, you are, ending things with somebody, I think that respecting their time is, like, really, really important.
Yeah, I agree. The sooner the better. And I think it's a way to do it without being shabby or rude.
Yeah.
I do think it's a way to do it without being shabby or rude. I have a few more questions for you guys. One of my questions was, like, about what goals are you kind of, let me save that one for the end. Let me ask you this question. Does the idea or the concept of children interest you, or does it scare you?
Yeah, I want some kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I love kids. When it's
I'm just asking general
I
questions.
even think so much.
to have them.
I even think
I love children.
I was gonna say I even think so much that would probably be, just to be honest, like a deal breaker. And I know that that's something that can be discussed. Like there are some couples that break up because maybe one of them wants to have children and the other one don't.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think that would work. You know, someone would always kind of be like unhappy.
No, I agree. 100%. You and Torin was talking at the same time. Torin, what were you saying? And I feel like it was something random.
No, I said I love the idea of kids. You find that one, you know, then it becomes the quantity. You know, you don't want too many. You just want, you know, maybe one or two.
Yeah, I don't want a school. I don't want to drive. I don't want to try.
Have a whole band, a whole worship team. Children.
No, youth department. I know back home, there's some preachers they like in their 50s and they have like 12 kids and they all.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot. I don't know how my grandparents did that, had all these daggone kids.
Yeah, I spoke with somebody recently that was saying, I was dating somebody, and they said that they wanted a whole bunch of children, and they already had 2. And I was like, well, how's the 2 working out for you? Like, let's start there. When you say stuff like you want 7 kids and you say extreme numbers like that, I'll be like, and then I'm rude. I don't mean to be like this, y'all, but I'm very honest. I'm like, will all of them feel loved the same? Will you have time for all of these 7 children the same way?
They had time to lay there and.
I mean, will somebody feel cheated out of their clothing because of hand-me-downs? Like, let's have real conversations about what we can afford. And people, he was like, I ain't never heard of somebody. I said, look, I'm just saying, when you get past the number 5, if you don't have the time.
Finances.
I'm not even saying finances. If you don't have the time with children, can you really raise them? You know what I mean? Like,
I also feel like as men, Torin, you and I, like, we are also not having these children, right? Like actually like giving birth to these kids. I feel like that's like a very tall order to just be like, yeah, like, so, you know, we have to have a whole bunch of kids and like, this is what we finna do.
Yeah, I just don't want to, you know, while practicing, slip up.
So that's where I haven't gone off to yet in living single yet, because I haven't spoken with anybody yet on the show who has children who's still single. And we know that changes the dynamic of life if you're not married but you do have children. Like, that can curve into something totally different, and then how you manage it is a whole nother level. So I ain't going to rest on that long at all. I do want to ask about like goals and things that you're working on right now, and how you see. Was a 2-part question. How you see the goals that you're working on right now could build with your relationship. Is it possible? You get what I'm saying? Because I am a strong believer, and then we're going to entertain the comments at the very end. I'm a strong believer in building, because marriage is about love, but it's heavily about building and that support. And as my father told me a few years back, people are in love with love, but they're not in love with marriage. And I was like, okay, let's take that note. That was a good one. That was a good one. So, yeah, how with goals and like whether it's career goals or just goals you have in life right now, how's that? What are some of those goals, and how do you see that working like in the future?
I see it being a big factor going into the future, because I'm working on career, you know, still marking off my list and getting myself together, you know, eventually, and hopefully I'll be set more comfortably when it comes that time to meet that one, or that one is, however it works.
And I agree with you. So I think that when you're focusing on self-care and self-development, I feel like although it could potentially take longer maybe than you want, I feel like you need to show up to a relationship in a better space. And I feel like this is a better space. That's working with something that's
Say
physical.
that last piece over, Basil. For some reason, I'm losing you. I don't know why.
Can you hear me now?
Um,
Can you hear me?
this sounds so weird, but pull your computer a tad bit closer to you, because I don't know why all of a sudden the sound started being funny.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right. Now repeat what you just said.
All right, I was gonna say I agree with Toran when it comes to like working on yourself, like self development, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, because you want to bring. At least I try to bring, the best version of myself, like to this relationship. And so, when I was talking about that unavailable piece, oftentimes I would know that I'm unavailable because I feel like there's something internal that I really feel like I need to work on before I start trying to build instead of landing with somebody. So definitely, when it comes to career, when it comes to purpose, when it comes to again working on your mental, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, I think that all of those are important things to not lose sight of going into the relationship.
Yeah. This kind of, like I said, y'all, this conversation was kind of, I wanted to dive into living single, but I didn't want it to be too heavy. And I know everybody asks the same question. All right, like how much do I need to share on this show? I'm not asking who you dated in 2000 and whatever year. I'm not asking those type of questions, but I am going to shout out some more of our people who've been watching and listening. Our good friend Candace says she is single and ready to mingle.
But a man doesn't jingle. Put the sister up in Jesus' name. Yes.
And our friend Marika is on tonight. She's supporting us. Shout out to Marika, who just graduated. I believe. Did you graduate from Columbia? Yes.
Okay.
I think we got one more year.
Is it one more year?
I think Marika got one more year.
Marika, let us know. Type it in the chat and put me on the. Tell me what it is, because I can't remember. But I know it's Columbia. And then they've been having full conversations without us in the chat room. Yes. So shout out to those who are from New Bethel Baptist Church, and everybody lives everywhere. That's kind of the fun part of New Bethel, is that everybody's from different locations. And so it's only a few people literally at the church that are actually from DC. Everybody's from different places. So we made a connection and people keep in touch. So what I do want to do before I end, as I always do, is close out with prayer. But before I do y'all have any questions for me? I think I've asked all the questions tonight. I tried to kind of stay on topic, and I'm kind of fearful.
We're not taking no questions from the audience.
You know what?
Much to say.
We got time now. I have time now. Y'all got someplace to be, because now it's 9:05. Any questions from the audience?
Since they got so much to say, Tavera.
Okay, Marcus did say one more year. Thank you, Basil. Basil was right. One more year.
I got a question. So this is a general question for us three, because I feel like the conversation about dating has looked very differently over the past year and a half, right? Because we all been in the house, right, with quarantine, with the pandemic. And so I have some friends or some people in my life who feel a certain way about online dating. I have some people who feel a different way about it. What are some of your thoughts about online dating, the apps just in general? Not saying that if y'all use it personally or whatever, that's personal, but just thoughts on it in general. Because I've heard some horror stories, but I've also heard some like success stories, like marriages. So
I never did the app. I think something that's leery, an experience. Somebody from my church, actually, we were in the youth department, grew up in the church. They got on an app to try to rob somebody, but the robbery went wrong. They got shot and they died. So the whole, even, you hear so many crazy things going on here.
Wait.
The online dating thing. You got to be face to face. And then if I'm going after you, I need to see how you move.
Mm-hmm. So I guess, but the idea was you would you meet them online and then y'all don't date online. You just meet them on the app or online, and then y'all go out and get to know each other in real life.
No, I'm too old school for that.
I feel that.
I'm still stuck at the fact that this man got online, a woman, whoever it was, got online to wow somebody.
Yeah, it was either Christian Mingle or something like that.
Not Christian Mingle.
Yeah, it was crazy. This happened, I think, in college, like freshman year. Mm-hmm.
That story got left real quick.
It did, and that's why I was like, what?
That's why I'm worried. Everybody talking about, oh, you want to use this app and all this app. I'm like, nah.
I'm weak, absolutely weak. So Isla's on, my good friend Isla from Richmond is on. She was a part of the first episode. And she's like, I have to go back and listen. So here's for me, I actually have done online dating. Basil. So to answer your question for myself, some online dating apps are better than others. I'm trying to be nice in my response because I have definitely found that like Hinge.
No look at it.
And I know they got these commercials. When you're the app that's supposed to be deleted, you keep us on your phone and we're meant to be deleted type. Find the person that you want. They always be sending me crazy people. And I be looking like, now, y'all, you know what my profile look like.
You gotta
that's too much.
You gotta get more specific on the filters that you gotta do. The little, you can select.
I do be specific. But then I try not to be too judgy. But I definitely try to be specific, like beliefs, if you believe, your age bracket, all of that. And it's still, I be looking at people like, no, I could tell somebody who's like all about career, and I can also tell somebody who just goes to work every day. Like I could tell, like I can kind of feel your vibe through it, and I can also tell when it's like you playing on this app. This is a joke. You playing, and we're gonna slide right on over because you playing. So Hinge, I don't find to be delightful. And what's funny is just from you saying that, I haven't checked any of my apps lately. One of my good friends, Faith, introduced me to the BLK app, the Black People app. Its concept is Black People Meet. I joined that. I ain't been on there in months. It's not even on my phone.
Yeah, I can't do them.
Online, using the apps is hit or miss for me. I feel like it's
too much.
It can be too much, and it's also very like impersonal. Like there's something different when you're like able to meet somebody out somewhere, or you're connected with somebody from a mutual friend. But I was asking that question because I know that in COVID, I know that a lot of people in my life and friends started using them who probably normally wouldn't, just because no other way that you was gonna meet women. Like there's no other way. You weren't going out. Like it wasn't. So.
Yeah. Coffee Meets Bagels isn't too bad. That's the app that I usually check more often.
Really?
Yeah. And so I just put myself out there. I'm on 3 of them. But I don't check any of them regularly, like at all. And I think sometimes I forget they're there. Because it hasn't given me that type of response to the point where I'm like, let me check out, let me see. I haven't gotten that. And then when I think I meet somebody that's kind of decent, when I meet somebody that's kind of decent, I'm kind of like, oh, and then it don't never go past the app. So when it says it's about to delete your thing unless you pay for whatever days or request a certain amount more days, I'll be like, well, they ain't talking no more. There ain't no point in me. Why try? Why try? Yeah, I'm still laughing.
Farmers Only. That farmersonly.com.
Could you imagine? Like this Philly girl
horseback riding or something like that. May take you out to the farm, shave the sheep.
So here's the thing.
Skin a coon.
Here's the thing. Number one, they are still laughing from your story, Toran, because Faith said all she heard was Christian Mingle.
I forgot what site, but I think it was Christian Mingle. They were planning to rob the guy. And the guy
was it women planning to rob a guy or men? Like what was it?
It was however it went, it was they made a fake profile, planning to meet up with somebody to rob them, but it went backwards, and the person was ready for whatever.
Wow. And you said the person died? Like
Yeah, the boy died. I think I was like 22, and he may have been 21.
the guy died who was trying to do the robbery. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, he died by the sword.
I hate Tori.
He was looking, got done up. He got when he was trying to do the getting.
I haven't heard this. That's a very interesting story on a dating app. What I've heard is people. I know somebody in Philly that attempted to rob somebody and got shot. Like they were killed because they stuck somebody else up and didn't realize the other person had a gun on them, and they were killed because. And what can you say to that other than? There you go. Like you can't just be still walking around sticking people up. You don't know what people are ready for. And you also don't know what people have been trained in either.
Ready for action. Looking for action, be ready for it.
Yeah. Like so that for that I can't there's nothing I can say. But for what Sean is saying about the apps, it is a hit and miss. I 100% agree with her. And she said when you start seeing people, you know it gets tricky. Yes, people I know have showed up on mine.
Same.
And I'm usually giggling and laughing as I'm going through all of their pictures and seeing what they say. But like, I know them in real life. What they really talking about? So I find it very interesting, but it is a catch-22, and it can be difficult sometimes with the online dating. But for me, it's been okay. I've met a few people in person, but not many. I haven't met many in person. And the first person I met in person, they don't know to this date, but two people that we know were there. So. Did y'all catch that?
Nah, I missed it. That
okay, I did go on a date.
Yeah.
With somebody. It was the first time I went on a date.
Yeah, people like to watch to make sure that nothing crazy happens.
Yes, and two people that all three of us know were sitting at a whole nother table like down the way. And I just made sure it wasn't obvious. I didn't like turn and look at them or nothing like that. I stayed engaged the whole time, but I had looked at my phone and I knew that them jokers were sitting a couple tables down. Mm-hmm. And they knew me. Like they could when the date was done, they was like, we already know how you feel. Like I was like,
listen, if y'all see me out with my margarita, say hello. It's okay.
Come on.
We live.
How you doing? How you doing? Yes. Faith Harrison said,
be a little slurred, but just say hey.
I cannot. If you see my margarita, say hello.
Here's the thing. Sometimes when you're in the apps and someone that you might have known that maybe has secretly kind of, admired you or, from afar, that gives them, a little platform to shoot their shot if they want to. It takes a lot of courage. If you swipe right or whatever on a person that you know.
You know what's funny with you saying that, Basil? I probably, based upon who the person is, yeah, this could be bad or good. This could be bad or good. Based upon who the person is, I might would give somebody a chance if they did that.
Yeah.
Only because I would get it. I would understand exactly what you're saying about the comfort of being like, okay, now these are people I know. This somebody like, let's see how this will turn out. Versus I wouldn't necessarily say I'll straight turn it down. I'll probably turn it down based upon who it is. Mm-hmm. But I have definitely seen people I know, and I told my roommate like, oh look who's annoying.
Look who like me. Look.
Just annoying. I'm just annoying.
When somebody group me.
Sean, I'll go on your next date with you. I'll watch to make sure that he not saying nothing crazy, doing nothing stupid.
I appreciate it. I'll let you know. Meanwhile, Candace and Sean are setting up a time to go out on each other's dates. I'm good. I'm weak. But do y'all have any other questions for me?
I don't.
So my question is, Okay, Toran almost looked like his computer frozen, so I'm gonna let it go.
My, yeah.
You stupid, man. I'm dead.
I can't deal with him.
Sean seems like she'll be the perfect wingman. Like
She would. I don't think anything's wrong with group dates either. I know people don't like them, and I'm getting older, so my generation of people, they would be like, a group date. You're 7 years old, going on a group date. Like, people so judgy.
A group date is different from a double date, or no?
No, same.
What's a group date?
Okay.
Group date is the same as double date.
But like, is it like? I feel like that's weird if like it's like a first date, because I've heard some scenarios where like on a first date, the woman came like with her sister, with her like, you know, I don't know.
I wouldn't do that on a first date either.
That's intimidating. That's a lot.
Yeah, I would do it. I would definitely do it like second or third date, like you've gotten to know the person at least a little bit, even if it's not a lot. You know, I'm a little comfortable enough to be together with somebody else, or to even separate for a period of time while you're out with somebody else, as a comfort level of, you know what I mean. But on the first date, it can be scary, because the other person may feel intimidated, or also feel like are you like do you have an insecurity about meeting people? You know what I mean? Like it could be seen so many different ways. So for me, y'all, they are really going forth on it. Faye says she's way too awkward for group dates. I just like meeting people. So I'm a natural networker. And so I've been like that since high school. Before I knew what the concept of networking was, I could network friends. Because of me, I know people that have hooked up.
Mm-hmm. You that friend?
Yeah, and I didn't know. Like I was just like, oh, okay, well that worked out, I guess, or not. So
I just be wanting to hear the details. So what happened?
I just appreciate how everybody has each other's backs. Faith said group dates are awkward for her. Meanwhile, Candace is up here, and Sean up here like we got each other's bags. And Martha said she's been set up for a blind date, double date. Oh, you didn't like it? I don't think a blind double date at the same time. I think it's too much.
I went on one blind date, and that was in high school. Did not like it.
I feel like blind dates.
I played it well though.
What'd you do? What'd you say?
Hold on, y'all. Keep talking. I can hear y'all.
It was just awkward because it was like my best friend and his girlfriend's best friend, and I didn't know she was. I thought we were just, it was like a cookout type thing, and then when they got ice cream and
turned into a date.
And I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, what in the world? Because I know I'm a Christian folk out here,
There you go. What?
Can't give me all the real, but I let my friend have it because it was so weird. Because first of all, the girl wasn't attractive, but I just use my personality to kind of like make light of the situation. But I let my best friend have it. That's probably one of the few times we actually had it out. No, I can't do blind. I need to see it coming. Because my spirit ain't tell me about it.
I feel that.
Okay.
Have you ever been a rebound and you ain't know it? That's a whole nother topic.
No. That's on topic. That's a part of the whole.
Let that sink in your spirit and let it come back next week to the next episode.
No, but that's something to think about because I don't know if I've ever been a rebound.
Let's see if any watchers out there like, click, and share. We have 5 ways to give. Let me put my Cash App in here. What do you think? Or have you ever experienced being a rebound? Or have you been the one to
I'm dead, Tori.
Yeah, be the rebounder?
Okay, Sean said that's a good question.
I feel like you wouldn't know unless, like, I'm trying to figure out like how you would know if you were somebody rebound. Unless like you put 2 and 2 together, like, oh, you was just with someone like last week. Now you with me. Like maybe you might, maybe you might be able to put them clues together. Unless they tell you.
Find out or you find out it's not from experience, but somebody experienced it that I know. We're not gonna call names, but say you did not know that they just got out of a relationship, but y'all been kicking it heavy, and then through conversation they say, "Oh, I got out of this relationship, and I'm not really ready to kind of like kick it into second or third gear." And then you're like, well, dang, well, what we been doing?
So I don't
hit a couple of home runs, get first, third, second base, and then let's be real tonight.
So I'm gonna say this. If I started dating somebody and we've been seeing each other for a while and they tell me later that I'm the rebound person, then my question is, so, and this is true to who I am, I'll be like, so how has this rebound been? Are we still rebounding?
Well, they're never gonna say that you're a rebound. You're just gonna be in that situation where they just
you just said if the person then decides to tell you that you are that you are the rebound person. That's what you just said. The person says something to you and kind of lets you know that they just came out of a relationship, and you get the idea. Like I'm the person that they came to after that. I would ask the question, like, because sometimes it could be going well, and then this question comes up, and my question would then be, how is this going? Are you still rebounding? Is this the concept of you just wanted to be with me for a period of time, or or are you enjoying this?
Because I would ask these questions, good, and then they go back to the ex.
Oh, then we're done. That talking, I call it the talking time period, because I don't think that people really going together that fast. I always say there's a talking time period. I've been saying this since I was like 19. We talk first, then we usually start going together, and then it gets serious.
Going together. That sounds like something my grandma used to say.
Yeah, I was coating.
Yeah, but first we talk.
I was coating.
Because we need to know who each other
Mm-hmm.
are.
It's different phases, but I feel like we overcomplicate things sometimes with the phases too. Sometimes.
And no, you're right. We do overcomplicate, but I know me. I'm not going from I don't know you to like hardcore dating you. I'm not doing that fast. For me there is a season of I need to get to know you. I can't say you cannot call me girlfriend and I don't know, like your favorite color. Like I should know things about you. You get what I'm saying? Like that is no matter what title it's under, I just don't think that some people rush into stuff too. That's why I was going to say, Toran, to what you just said about the whole rebound concept. I'm like, if somebody was to say that to me, but then they start doing other things, I'm not to be played around with like that. That's not going to keep my interest. And
that's going to make you pop the trunk on somebody.
No, what's the point of me fighting? What's the point of me saying no? That's all that energy is wasted time. What you say, Basil? All that energy is wasted time.
So I want my time back. I want to touch that face. You and the ex, pull up. 17.
What Candace said?
A day one kind of girl.
He lay it all out there. Yeah, and Faith says she don't like the whole too close for her.
What about some of our seasoned saints? What do you all think about this? Let's hear from y'all. Let's click those keys.
I'm gonna give it another like 2 or 3 minutes, then we gonna pray out. If somebody says something, then we'll give a response. But we gonna wrap this thing on up.
Elaine, can I touch on the subject that I told you about 2 weeks ago?
I don't know what this subject is. Okay. And he said, Toran, go to bed.
It's past my bedtime.
It's not. What are you referring to? Or do you want to?
No, I'll say that might be too much for the people. Where's Tavera? She not on here no more.
She's not posting anymore. I don't know if she's still watching.
Oh.
You can't get to know people who you kind of have to go from I don't know you to we are together. And that's so, Marka. It's funny you say that, Marka, because I will say for me, I want to get to know a person, so I can't. I just I need time to get to know you. Like I need some weeks, a month or two. Like I just cannot. I don't understand how people go straight into a relationship. That's just not. I can't phantom that.
I can't see that.
I can't understand that.
Can't. It takes time, and it's not time for. It's it's just time for me to like mentally put you into like in a space.
Yeah.
Look, we have all our salt. Christians.
No, Monica said who you call season, but Faith and Monica just switched.
Don't throw Monica on the salt, right?
Faith was on YouTube and with the Facebook and said, "Oh, it's piping over here. It's happening over here." And Monica switched from Facebook to YouTube. Monica said, "Who you call the season?" And so leave the season people alone. Leave that part alone. But that's my response to that.
That's how I learn.
For the dating app thing, I just need to get to know a person. Even if somebody else is hooking us up. Like if somebody else says, "Oh, I got somebody for you," I'm open to that as well. But let me just get to know the person, conversations, text, whatever. We can meet up. Let me just get to know you, and then after that, we can both decide if this should grow into something.
Yeah, I want to come back. Y'all need to give me another topic. I mean, bring me back on the show.
Okay, so I'll keep that in mind. I'm laughing, but I am serious, though. I'm laughing, but I am serious, guys. But this was good tonight. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed some aspects of the conversation. And Faith tries out everything. So now she's talking about eHarmony.
God. You're going to have to go and give us evaluations.
But I have not checked Black People Meet in months. I got on there. I think I got on there last August, and I haven't been on there since like October.
I'm scared. Y'all won't be frying chicken and fish over me because somebody killed me or attempt to.
It's still sweating crazy.
There's a way to safely do it, and like I said, you can also meet with somebody and have friends at a whole nother table. They just can't be your ratchet friends because they can't draw attention to you. That's what I'm trying to say. It can happen because I've done it. And the person never knew because I didn't say anything. I didn't go and talk to my friends. I wasn't rude to them. I knew my purpose of being there. And my people knew to stay in their space. And after we were done with the date, I went out for ice cream with my friends.
Jenny's.
On 14th
tonight.
It was there. Oh wait a minute, no, it wasn't Jenny's. It was the ice cream spot that used to be around the corner from the church on U Street. It's now I don't think it's there anymore. It was small. I think COVID might have took it away. And then they took it back. All right. So who want to pray? Oops, I didn't mean to say y'all. Who wants to pray tonight?
I will pray.
Thank you.
Thank you, Basil.
I'll pray.
Awesome.
Let's bow our heads. Toran, you gotta. We're gonna pray extra hard for you, brother.
Oh my goodness, and he needs to go bed after this.
Father, we thank you for this day, for this opportunity to have life and breath. We thank you for this platform and just for this opportunity to discuss and to be able to have dialogue, real dialogue, about dating and about singleness, God. We thank you for Elaine, for her gift, for this platform, for her vision. Thank you that you are still moving and still having your way and just working and operating in this space, God. As we are in our singleness, God, I pray that you would help us to anchor ourselves deeper in you and your word, that we may grow and develop and be the men and women that you've called for us to be in our singleness, so that we can be the men and women that you called for us to be in our relationships and our marriages in the future. We thank you. We love you. We pray for everyone that's been watching, that's been commenting, that's been engaging in this conversation. And it's in Jesus' name that I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you guys again.
Elaine, thanks for having us. Toran, I hope that you can get in some AC or